Guys, another case study from a client of mine, Matt Enns, so the Sovereign Man on Instagram. By all means, go ahead, give Matt a follow, watch some of his content. This guy is crushing, he's doing really well. Even just from observing what he's doing, you can get a lot of value from him, okay? So, but drop Matt a message as well, tell him I sent you. But myself and Matt, we've been working together for a while. Before Matt started with me, you can see he's got like 85K, probably more now that you're seeing this video. He's got 85K followers. And before we started, Matt had about like 15, okay? But Matt got started with me back in August. And as you saw there, he helps with men in their relationships and their marriages. He helps them kind of take responsibility of themselves and step back into strength and reestablish that polarity between themselves and their partner, their woman. Right? But before Matt signed up, he saw some content of his go viral, like go mega viral. And about 3 or maybe it was 5 weeks, he went from having like 3K followers up to having about 13,000. And I highlight this point because so many people tell me, or they seem to think that when they have 5K or 10K or 50K followers, that's when they'll make good money. But the reality for Matt just disproves that whole idea, because Matt gained 10K followers in under a month, right? And his revenue stayed the exact same. So before we started working together, Matt was doing about 2K months consistently, okay? And he'd spent all this time building his audience, putting out valuable content, posting every single day, engaging with his audience, doing all of this stuff. And yes, it led to the vanity metrics of likes and follows and comments and saves and all these sort of things. Yeah, they skyrocketed. But the revenue in the bank account didn't. Okay? And to make matters worse, I think it was about 12 months prior, maybe it was a little bit longer, but Matt actually quit his full-time job as a high-powered consultant, financial consultant, where he was making really good money. He left that behind to pursue this business. And, he had a family dependent on him. He had his kids dependent on him. He had his wife, his stay-at-home wife was dependent on him. And he had to make this work on a pretty freaking tight budget, right? Doing 2, 3, 4 grand a month, living in Canada with a large enough family, right? So he knew something had to change, right? He knew that the solution, because he'd experienced it, he knew that the solution wasn't going to be ads, and it wasn't going to be getting more followers or going viral again. Because he had already gotten eyeballs and it hadn't led to the increase in revenue. So he knew that that wasn't the solution, but he knew that something had to change, and it needed to change urgently, right? So what were the challenges he was facing? Although he had those eyeballs, that audience, leads just weren't coming in, okay? But Matt implemented the 2 core pieces of the seductive marketing approach. He implemented strategic outreach and began to follow this Trojan horse strategy to pull in prospects, to pull in the warmest leads and get them onto calls. And then secondly, together, we got clarity and implemented the outreach campaign and tailored DM flow to book in calls with his ideal client. We tailored this script that you actually see here is the exact script that we used. We tailored that to his offer, his voice, his message, and his ideal client. And pretty soon, the combination of showing up in the stories and using the Trojan horse strategy and then implementing the outreach campaigns, pretty soon, his calendar each week was stacked with these ready-to-buy prospects, okay? We implemented these elements here on the attraction portion of seductive marketing, which if you're watching this video, probably means you've seen the training on seductive marketing already. So we got crystal clear on who he really wanted to work with. And I mean really wanted to work with. We got really clear on what limiting beliefs are holding the prospect back and what facilitating beliefs he needed to install in his audience in order to get them to buy. Okay, and we crafted this tailored messaging strategy to pull in the right kind of clients. Okay, and we use the CTAs and the Trojan horse to get those warmest people onto calls and to do that fast. And then simply implementing the Segit system and the 4-stage finance filter, we pulled away, we eliminated people that weren't financially qualified, and we built certainty with the people who were. And as a result, here's some payments here that we've blurred out the emails and stuff for obvious reasons, but you can see these were all collected in a single week. So very shortly after getting started, I think it was 3 weeks, Matt experienced this, right? His first ever 13.6K cash week, not month, but week. So in about 3 weeks, right, 4 weeks, Matt went from doing 2 to 5K a month to doing 13.6K in a single week. Okay. And it didn't stop there, right? It didn't stop there, not by a long shot. All right. Now, today, Matt's got a packed out group program. He has a team in place that are managing his sales calls, and that frees him up to do what he loves, right? Thinking creatively about the business, thinking deeply about his ideal client and the challenges that they're facing, using that to create powerful content, to do speaking, right? To travel and spend time with his family, and to train BJJ, right? And I think Matt, at the time of shooting this, I did an interview with him 2 weeks ago. He was in Portugal at that stage. He's traveling around Europe at the moment, so I'm not exactly sure where he is this week, but he's with the family, traveling. He still takes some calls. He detailed on that interview that he still likes to take some sales calls himself, but the guy is crushing. And 10 weeks after signing up, Matt did his first ever 70K month. Okay, that is crazy. That's incredible. Okay, so just 10 weeks after. Okay, the full interview is up on YouTube. It's probably somewhere on these pages as well. But by all means, drop Matt a message and also go ahead and watch the interview here. So that's a pretty drastic turnaround in a very short period of time, to go from 2K months to 60 and 70K, right? To achieve this financial and location freedom, to have 60 guys enrolled in his high ticket program, to have a sales team and systems in place. He's consistently doing 50K months, even while traveling. He's left Canada, he's traveling around the world. Here's actually Matt with Tim Kennedy, right? Tim Kennedy, ex-Special Forces and UFC fighter, with his one of his sons and his wife, right? So Matt went from 2 to 60 and 70K months inside a year of really getting started in his business, right? In 10 weeks, he hit that first 70K months, right? So if you're watching this and maybe you don't have a big following, right? Maybe some advantages that Matt has or had, you don't currently have. But if Matt could do that in 10 weeks, what do you think we could do in half a year together? Do you think we could get you to 10 grand a month or 20 grand or 30 grand a month, right? Matt's now helping guys overcome the exact same challenges that he faced on his hero's journey, right? He's making bank while helping clients transform their relationships and save their marriages. He has this packed out group program, and him and his team are closing deals while he's traveling around Europe. And there's 60 guys in that group program. Okay, so go ahead, watch the interview with Matt, shoot him a message. One final thing that I'd like to highlight here. Matt was doing like 2 to 5K a month prior to getting started. You can imagine that it was a difficult decision financially to invest, right? To invest in the business. He wasn't flush with cash. And this is a conundrum that I see happen a lot on sales calls. I see people being torn apart, that they know they need support to start closing clients and grow their business. But because they're not closing clients and growing their business, they're pretty tight on capital. right? And in Matt's case here, he had his family to support and everything else. But we found a way to make it happen, and look what's happened as a result. You know, Matt says it himself in the interview that, like, without getting that support, you know, so often, and it's something a client of mine speaking to in content at the moment, so often guys especially have this kind of complex around being a lone wolf and not needing support. Almost as if accepting support means that we are less, right? Accepting support, that it means we're less talented. And I always give the example of a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Floyd Mayweather, that these people may have the pinnacle of inherent God-given talent. Without the right support and the right mentorship, essentially, we wouldn't know these people's names. Okay, so could you do 10K months or 70K months trying to piece this all together yourself? Maybe, right? But if it would have happened already, if it was going to happen, it probably would have happened already, right? So if you realize that the results you're getting right now in your business aren't the results that you want, something needs to change. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. Okay, so if you're watching this, you resonate with Matt's story, you want help, either drop me a message on Instagram or find one of the call booking links and get yourself on a call with me. Okay, it's a low pressure sort of approach that I like to take with sales. I like to map out a strategy for a client or for a prospect, and then say, and do you want to get help implementing this process? Okay, and you'd only really get pitched if you want to get that help. Okay, so peace, my friend. That's been another case study. I hope you find that helpful. Cheers.